There we go. Today, we're really going to focus on setting up tasks and reminders if this is something you're interested in doing in SkySlope and just kind of what that looks like. And then just kind of going over the dashboard. We've had a lot of classes of just working on the form side of things, which is the e-signatures, your form libraries, and we've had classes working on submitting your documents in here, whether you did, wet signatures, or maybe you have DocuSign and whatnot. So we've done courses just in submitting paperwork to the company here and what you can do. So I thought it'd be nice to kind of take a step back and just kind of look over the dashboard to see just some different options that might come up helpful. And so, of course, along the top, it's just going to kind of be your monthly status of 38 close or scheduled closings this month. How many active listings, how many pendings closed this month. Expired escrows. This just means pendings that are past their close date. So that terminology is a little bit different. And then, of course, expired listings. So you can see that the MTS team is very active, but we are struggling to get those closings in with that. But that's just kind of to give you a glimpse at your SkySlope activity, what's been submitted to the company. And then, of course, you can always manage your transactions here that have been in. So you can kind of see expired and complete. This is the training account. I don't think we have any just, pendings. All of them are a little incomplete. Oh, there we go. Pendings here, as well as any canceled transactions here. And then, of course, your closed transactions, archived would be down at the bottom. And that's kind of what, managed listings is also going to look like, where you have your current active listings, your, canceled listings. And then, of course, we focused a lot on creating transactions and creating listings. We can always go over that more at the end, or you can schedule a time with me to dive deeper into that. This is just your digital signature. So this is DigiSign. They just wanted a quick link from there. But then if we come down here, this row is kind of something that we don't do a lot with. But the incomplete checklist, this is just going to show you the incomplete transactions and how many incomplete items. So if you kind of were just looking at that with transactions and listings, hopefully with yours, it's like 0 incomplete items, but it could just be a fast track to see what's missing and just, hop on over there really quickly. So if you didn't want to do it by property, if you weren't say, okay, I know this property is closing in 5 days, I want to just come in here and make sure all the paperwork is in so that I don't get a delay in my commission check, because nobody wants a delay in their commission check. You can do that by property. Or if you were just like, hey, I have, 30 minutes before I need to leave for my appointment, let's just see how I'm doing in general. That option, your canceled contracts, you wanted to look at them, that would just be under here. So not too much to do with that. Your archives would be your closed deals. Pretty easy to, download all of them if you wanted to. But of course, the company is going to keep them for the required amount of time. 3 years for North Carolina, 5 years for South. We're going to skip this because we're going to dwell on this a bunch and move just to working documents. This is basically just any kind of documents that aren't necessarily assigned to a deal, but maybe that you just use that you want to just store in here. If any of you use your Google Drive, kind of just an online storage place for you guys that, I could just send to, attach to a property or whatnot here. There are folders that you can make that you can, assign them to, but basically it's very similar kind of to your Google Drive, but just a place where you could store documents that don't necessarily have to be attached to a specific deal, but maybe one that's not in your forms library that you use a lot when going over paperwork with clients. So that's kind of the dashboard for here, and we're going to just dive deeper into tasks and reminders. Again, you will probably not have this many, but you can see that our MTSs have been busy. The biggest thing is the difference between tasks and reminders. So tasks, and I'll just take this straight from SkySlope. So I was doing, research on this in SkySlope for you guys, and I just put in tasks and it popped up all this stuff. It was great. But the main difference is a task. Basically, you can make a task, which is kind of, you can make a checklist. So you can put a bunch of tasks together. You can just have one task, and you can make this checklist for yourself that I have to do this for this project, or not this project, but for this property. There we go. And then as you do it, you can check it off. Whereas a reminder is just going to send you an email reminder. That's all it is, where you would just go in, say, I need a reminder to reach out to make sure, the due diligence check or whatever was sent in. And then you would just get that email that morning. So tasks and reminders, that's the main difference. A checklist versus just you're sending yourself an email in the future. But how you can do that, so you can set up new tasks right in here. And we'll just kind of look at what that looks like. So you would just title the task. I could start putting in this attaching it to a property here. If I start putting in the address, it's going to think for a bit and then pull up different properties. I think it's easier if you're going to do tasks to just do it in the property itself, which is what I'm going to show you next. But if I do that and I attach it to a property, I have all these file creation, acceptance date, closing date, listing expired. So I can say, after the acceptance date, 3 days after, I need to check on the check. It's obviously going to be assigned to me, and I could save that reminder or that task for myself. If I go into reminders, you can see, so you're still going to title it. You're still going to have your dates where you can choose, right on the acceptance date, I need to do this, or before, before the closing date, 5 days before, I need to, maybe schedule that closing walkthrough or something. We have this one here, upload high resolution photos to the attic, which would be, after probably, one or 2 days after. There we go. 1 day after the listing date, schedule those put in those high resolution photos. And then you can choose the time that it goes out. You can, say that it's going to go out to yourself. And then just write whatever reminder email that you need to do. So that's kind of how you would set up a task or reminder. And then, of course, if we were going to, you really liked using those tasks, they were helpful, you like having that checklist. Down here, I can create a list. I can say Natalie's thing checklist, save it. Good old floppy disk. I feel like we haven't used floppy disks in forever, but they still mean save. And then I can just start putting it through. So, upload photos into the attic, listing date, 1 day after, save. And then I can just keep going through. Then I can say, email into AdWorks, listing date again, and I'm going to say, give that 2, maybe 3 days, depending on, uploading that. Whatever, you want to do, you can do that. You can just kind of set that up with the tasks. And then here we go. Here's my 2 tasks. So that's just, yeah, if you're playing around, you like doing it. So now if I have a listing, and we'll just grab one. That's an interesting one. We'll click that one. And so whenever you're in a transaction, we have these tasks at the end. And so you can specifically add a task or reminder per property. That's what I was saying, which I think is the easiest way to do it if you just have a kind of a one-off task or reminder to look at there. Or I can, if I really like using this, it's a great checklist for me. I can just come into import template and import it right in here. And then I have it all set up, ready to go, just how I like it. And this red means it's obviously past them. So you're like, okay, well, that's great, but then I have to go into the property every time for tasks. So reminders are great, but that's emails, which, some for emails, it will be great. That's exactly what you want. Some you're like, I'd rather, use the tasks and not get more emails. So if you go up to yourself to the top right and go to my account, notifications, there's just this one where it's just one email me a daily summary of today's tasks and overdue tasks. So instead of getting, a bunch of different emails, you could have it set up just to get that one email in. That's it. One email in that's going to kind of just give you a list of these are the tasks that are due today, and then hey, these are the overdue tasks that you might want to look at for that. And so that's kind of just a helpful way if you're not, coming in here and looking at your tasks for, the properties. And that's kind of just what the different things that you can do with, this task tab, and just helping it be this checklist for you if that's something you used in another system. That you have that option to do here, creating new, importing just a template. And so you're just everything, or if there's just some special reminder that you need for this deal, because so many deals are unique, just to send yourself a reminder to do that. So any questions with that? Or thoughts on them?
No, I'm good on that.
All right, if we're looking pretty good on that, if no one has any more questions, that's kind of just the SkySlope overview and the tasks and reminders. And so I'm going to just stop recording and